Boy racers, causing mayhem and upsetting locals for the past 3 decades. But are they still at large? Are they all bad? And can they be stopped? Join me as we dive deeper into the topic and explore auto antics. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the reach of magazines like Max Power and Fast Car promoted a huge increase in vehicular mischief. All of a sudden, every young man's dream was to own a loud car with a brash body kit, which in itself was not an issue. However, when large groups of youngsters came together to meet and show off to each other, the result was often antisocial behaviour and dangerous driving. Thus, the label Boy Racer was coined for youngsters who caused mayhem with their machines. Disrupting town centres and loitering at seafronts, boy racers seemed to be everywhere back in the day. All of a sudden, car enthusiasts simply following trends and enjoying their cars were all tarred with the same brush. Unfortunately, it only takes a few bad people to give a group a bad name, and boy racer became a very stereotypical term. 20 years on, however, things are different. In 2025, the days of neon lights and huge speaker systems have been lost to time. The new age of cars with Bluetooth and touchscreens are naturally favoured by tech-savvy young drivers. However, boy racers are still at large, just not portrayed in the same way they were 30 years ago. Like the technology, the common boy racer has also evolved. As a genuine car enthusiast myself, I and many of my peers have been labelled as boy racers, merely due to the way we present our cars, the areas we congregate, and even the way we look as a group. Due to the portrayal of boy racers throughout pop culture, people often see an old car with a young driver and instantly think of us as the deviant youths of the past. I want to rewrite that stereotype, and help people identify the difference between a brash boy racer and a passionate car enthusiast. South Queensferry, a scenic seaside town with a rich history that attracts tourists every single day. A very pleasant place to spend a day or two. But just make sure you're gone before nightfall. A nice large car park and good views of the Forth Bridges make for a very popular congregation spot for young people in their cars. And by that, I mean it turns into a racetrack. South Queensferry has become infamous in recent years due to a rise in antisocial behaviour and dangerous driving. It's driven residents to the point of insanity, bringing local councillors in to see what can be done to improve the situation.
Now we've had long discussions with the council, the community council, and very recently they've agreed to put speed bumps in the road here and in the car parks, which we think will make a difference.
So, now you understand the concept of boy racers and the outlook the general public have towards them. But let's hear the opinions of a young car enthusiast who would most likely be labelled as a boy racer himself. Jan is a great friend of mine and can offer a first-hand perspective on dealing with boy racer culture and even offering some ideas as to what could be done to tackle it. Let's get to know him first.
My name's Jan, I'm 19, I'm a second year apprentice welder, and this is my 1996 Volkswagen Golf SE. I've been interested in cars for most of my life. It definitely started off when I was younger, sort of just almost out of curiosity. I mean, I watched all the big YouTube channels at the time, typical Fast and Furious movies, stuff like that, and sort of just snowballed from there. I'd say it's quite a big part of my life and pretty important to me. I'm pretty fortunate enough to not really have had many super tough times to deal with, but even just if I've had a bad day or like if I just fancy doing something, I'll just go for a drive, go meet up with some friends, so just chat about it. I'd always quite liked these because growing up my aunt had a near enough identical one to this, red Mark III Golf, and I just quite liked it. I'd always kick about in it with her, and I don't know, it just sort of stuck. And then I was looking for a first sort of project car to buy, my first sort of old car that I could learn to work on cars on, and this came up at a pretty reasonable price. Went and viewed it, seemed pretty good, bought it. My favourite memories overall is going out in a big group for a cruise, whether it's to a show or some sort of event. It's always good fun when there's 10, 12, 15, all sort of older cars, all your pals, just driving along, having a blast. Always good fun. I'd say the most rewarding job I've done to this car is the most recent one, the clutch and the short shifter. It's the biggest job I've ever done on a car, and it's the one that's made the most difference. Now that it's off the road, sort of the best chance to do it.
So now the gear throw is a lot shorter, the gears are a lot closer together, so from third to fourth, really close. Before it was quite a long throw, just makes for a slightly better driving experience.
It's made a massive difference. The car drives so much better now, so that's quite a good feeling. I'd say there's a great community around cars, especially sort of older cars. The car community or scene as a whole, you can't really sum it up into one. It's almost like everyone's got their own little group, but within old cars and the old car sort of community, I've not really met many people that I've not gotten along with. Everyone's really nice, everyone's willing to help out. It's a really good sort of sense of community. It's like there's so many things I've done to it now while it's been off the road. It's quite a lot of smaller things, but I just can't wait to drive it and see what it's like now that it's how it should be, sort of thing. And also, once all my body panels and stuff are painted, hopefully it'll look quite good.
It's clear to see that Jan is truly passionate about his hobby. We asked him his opinion on boy racers and antisocial behaviour as a whole.
I can definitely see how people could be affected by it. I mean, dangerous driving's kind of an old person thing to say, but you're always one wrong move from hurting yourself, hurting one of your pals, hurting a random person. So you can see how it would affect some people. I feel like everyone involved around cars has had an encounter with the police. I've had a few, but none of them have been really bad. Especially driving sort of older cars. The officers are usually a bit more easy on you. They're quite like seeing young people kicking about in old stuff, because it's the sort of stuff they would have seen when they were younger, and they're always up to sort of have a chat about it, and they're quite good. I mean, they are just doing their job, you can't really fault them. Boy racers as a general sort of term is still a thing. It's nothing like what you used to see with sort of max power and all that stuff in the early 2000s. Now it's much different, but there's definitely still a big sort of boy racer thing, you know, young people just kicking about in loud cars and just causing a nuisance. Definitely still a thing. Places sort of like the leisure park or South Queensferry are littered with these sort of boy racer type, and I couldn't imagine living, for an example, in South Queensferry. It would be an absolute nightmare. Every single night, especially at the weekend, right outside your house, just noise for hours, racket, be unbearable. There's nothing wrong with meeting up with your pals and sitting in a car park having a chat, whatever, but as sort of a car person, I'd much rather go to a show or go to Knock Hill or some sort of event. It's much better use of time, see much cooler stuff. Young drivers should probably just watch themselves. I mean, you work so hard to get your license, to get a car, to drive, and couple bad moments, or maybe one bad moment, one unlucky moment, and that could all be taken away. And as for the police, it's kind of tough to say what they could do better because they already patrol the areas as the sort of hot spots pretty commonly. There's not really much more they can do on that front. But it'd be nice if there was like maybe a website where you could find out about local events to do with cars and things like that, to try and sort of sway people away from car parks and, you know, residential areas and stuff like that. There's no other way to put it. It's the people driving the cars that are making the noise, that are making bad decisions, sort of being reckless or dangerous. And as I said before, it's you know, it's all sort of fun and games, but you are one mistake away from hurting someone or losing your license, and it's not worth it, is it? Like, all that hassle to get your license and stuff, it's not really worth losing it over to try to look cool in a car park. But just need to watch yourself and keep yourself right. If you really are interested in cars and it's your thing, go to shows, these like events at tracks or Crail, the drag strip. There's loads of stuff going on all the time where you can have your fun safely and not cause a nuisance and maybe get in trouble with police. Restarted the sentence. Yeah, that's minted. Is it still rolling?
Yeah.
Perfect. Literally perfect.
Jan gives a great insight as to what goes on within car culture, but nothing is quite as effective as seeing it for yourself. Me and Jan attended a local car meet to get a taste of the action.
Well, we're going to Falkirk Cruise now, which is it's an actual event, so it should be a bit busier, maybe capture a bit more of what we're looking for. But it's quite a nice thing. It's a sort of get together of everyone that likes cars. Falkirk Cruise was pretty eventful. There was quite a lot of old stuff that was pretty cool, quite a lot of new stuff that was pretty cool. Fair selection of questionable cars that I don't think are to any of our tastes, but it's a pretty good insight to, in big air quotes, car culture. Quite a mixed bag of people and cars and activities, but pretty good evening overall. Well spent afternoon. I enjoyed it. I think everyone did.
Spending the evening at Falkirk Cruise was interesting. The meet was busy, and a handful of people who were trying to show off were ruining it for others, which almost proves my point perfectly. The majority of people attending just want to enjoy their hobby. I decided to speak to another member of the community to get an even better idea of how this can be an issue. Jay is one of the first people I met through cars. He has a strong dislike of the new age boy racer. He likes to enjoy his cars, for the most part, sensibly.
I am Jay, 22 I think. This is my car, Toyota Supra.
How long have you had it?
7 months now. Yeah, got it in October I think it was. My dad's always been into cars, so I've always been around them. Apparently my first word was car, not sure, but take it. Well, I don't really do anything else. It's just cars. Everything is cars. So it's my personality, really. So yeah, anytime that I've had anything to do with, it's just like you have the car, you can go for a drive, or you think about what else you can buy, what things you can do to your car. It's like a distraction. Many memories. I don't know where to start. Driving down to Players, we had a big convoy of old cars driving down the motorway, and we had the CV radios talking to each other. Or this car, when we were driving it home after we picked it up from London, driving up the motorway, and there's always people going past, like, you know, taking photos and videos and stuff, and you're just like, yeah, this is cool. You know, there's obviously the separate things. You got like the old cars, and then you've got the old people into old cars, and then you've got the younger people with their fancy cars, but everybody's friendly and just a nice place to be usually. It's not really boy racers anymore, because I think boy racers were just, you know, chavs in there. They're terrible modified cars, but it's not the same anymore. It's not like everybody's just racing around all the time. A lot of boy racers now just sort of static, like they have the chavvy cars, but we're not racing about town, being menaces, like a lot of people think. Here, for example, it would be there's car parks down Queensferry, or, you know, other car parks, but a lot of the time it's just people parked up in their cars talking to each other, parked side by side. Not like we're out doing burnouts and stuff all the time. But it's more like, instead of going out clubbing, you go sit in the car in a car park. As long as you're not being, you know, doing burnouts and stuff and being really loud and annoying. If you're just sitting like in the car talking to each other, I don't see a problem with it, but I get where people come from when people are, you know, doing burnouts or silly stuff, making loads of noise, and it's like 2 in the morning on a Tuesday night or something. But genuinely, most people would just rather talk about the cars. If you spoke to anyone with a modified car, they will happily show you around it and, you know, talk about their hobby and all that sort of stuff. There's always going to be some people like that, but I think the majority that you would meet in a car park would be, you know, relatively normal. So you need somewhere to go. If all the places, all the car places are gone, for example, there'd be nowhere to go, and there'd be a lot more people out being funnies about. But if you open up sort of more like places for people into cars to be social, there'll be less people hanging about in residential places. If there was like a big, for example, if there was a big car park made just for people to hang about in, that's where everybody would go. But there isn't anything like that. So, as I've been told by Police Scotland themselves, not in town, anywhere else, fair game, right? So, back roads, quiet roads, if you have to, or, you know, tracking that, but there's no point saying, oh yeah, go to a track, because everybody will drive fast, not on the track at some point. But you have to, you know, basically be sensible. You're not doing 70 miles an hour through 20 zones and towns and stuff, and park cars. Yeah, I would have no friends if I wasn't into cars. I don't go out at like clubs or anything, or pubs or that. All I do is drive. So I've never had the cars. I wouldn't have any friends. So, you know, and all your friends are into the same thing, then, you know, you come together and just do stuff, spontaneous trips and that, because everybody enjoys driving the same. So we'll all get to enjoy it, because you're in your car. It's like, I don't know how you would describe it. It's like not having anything else to do. You know, you're not thinking about like your college work, or, you know, your job, or doing this or that. You're just in the car, you're driving, you're watching the road. And then obviously we had 3 cars, 2 of them were mine. No, 4 cars, 2 of them were mine. And it was just like, I don't know, you're just looking at the cars and watching each other, and you're like one with the car, you fly about the roads and stuff. It's just, obviously you have your scenery as well, driving. Just, it's just something nice. You're not in the house, you've got nothing else to think about. It's just you, the car, and the road.
Now, you've met the relevant people, and you've had a look into what life as a car enthusiast is like. A total obsession, made enjoyable by its community and the friends that you meet within it. The very same people you might have taken at face value and assumed the worst of. So, are all supposed boy racers bad? Absolutely not. These people are passionate and devoted to their hobby. Are actual boy racers still at large? Yeah, in any situation, even without cars, there'll always be someone that takes it too far and spoils it for the rest of them. And the final question, can they be stopped? To put it simply, no. People will always find a way to bend the rules, especially impressionable young adults with a fresh driver's license. There's a fine line between having fun and endangering others, and I think some people struggle to find that. One thing that I do know is, some of the best fun you can have is in a car.